everyone. Welcome to the Saturday night live Antoine anonymous meeting. So welcome to two viewers. I think one is my wife. This is the weekly addiction and recovery little live stream that I've been doing for a little while. And the purpose of this is to help other people, help you guys if you guys are struggling with like a drug addiction or any mental health issues, any type of addiction. I'm here for that. I'm here to listen to you in the chat, and I can share about my own experience, and then we can chat it up and bounce some ideas and stuff, and figure out what's the best way to deal with things, and for me for sure it's without the use of drugs, 100%. Because my past of active drug addiction wasn't very productive. I was hurting a lot of people, hurting myself, hurting the people that's close to me, the closest to me actually. I always thought that I was just hurting myself, but in reality, no. In reality, I was hurting a lot of people, everyone that cared about me. So sometimes we have like these behaviors, like we think it only involves us. Well, sometimes it involves a lot of people, everyone around us. Let's say if we're hurting ourselves with like food or any other type of behavior, we think we're only like affecting us, but we might be affecting, people that have relationships with you. So something to think about. Something to think about. Yeah. And usually with this, people can chat and ask questions at any time during the live stream, and I can, talk back and answer and help people, hopefully. And, and then I go through the just for today meditation, just a reading, something to do. I just read and I see how it relates to what I'm going through right now or what happened in my life and things like that. So we're going to do that. But first of all, we're going to do the serenity prayer. If you don't like prayers, well, it's a sentence. Just listen. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Kind of the basic of the whole 12-step idea here. What can we control? What can we cannot control? Knowing the difference. And then for the things we can change, ask for courage. And obviously the things you can't change, the only thing is you accept them. If you don't, you're just creating your own suffering. So this little resume of that prayer here. Poof. So this is where there's questions, but like last week, I think it's a quiet evening. Maybe I'll have to change it up. Maybe everybody's doing well, because I had like a few regulars here that would come up on the chat, and maybe they're all doing well, so they don't need to get on this live stream and try to seek help, because they're doing great. Hello, Victor. Victor Andrade, you were there last week, I think. Yeah, so maybe everybody's doing well. No need to get on the live stream tonight. But even though I am doing well, I want to do this because sometimes it's just good for me to speak out loud and speak the words of recovery. So what I'm going to do now, Victor, how are you? Unless you have questions, I'm going to go on with this reading here I have here. It says here, September 6th, 2025, regular meeting attendance. And for those who don't do meetings, right? I don't know if you do any meetings, Victor, but it's pretty much, I'm going to read a sentence here. I'm going to tell you like how you can apply it to your life if you don't do meetings. We have learned from our group experience that those who keep coming to our meetings regularly stay clean. So what got me clean is the rehabs and the 12-step program and the meetings. So for me, in order for me to stay on the path that I am now, I need to keep doing the things that got me there, which is meetings, doing recovery stuff every day, speaking and hanging out with people or recovery also, patati patata, all right, etc. Well, for somebody who doesn't do meetings, if they notice something that got them better, well, the only way you're going to keep getting better, or the only way you're going to stay in the same spot, which is better than before, is by doing the things that got you there in the first place. So if somebody did maybe therapy. If the therapy is like your medicine, why would you stop it if you need it to be well? NA meetings, I always say that NA meetings are like my medicine. If you're if you're like a diabetes person and you stop taking your insulin, what happens? You get super diabetes, sugar blood, and then you die. Well, my diabetes is addiction. So for me to keep my addiction at bay, I need to do my medicine, which is the meetings and all the recovery stuff. So pretty much what this is about to talk about, I think, because I didn't read it today by purpose, because I knew I was going to read it tonight, because I had a meeting earlier. It's pretty much that by coming back over and over and over again to the meetings, this is how like we stay clean. For me, at least. Obviously, giving back all this shit too, but you know, the bread and butter is like I go there, I get recovery, I share about recovery, I relate to people relate to me sometimes, and I am just in a group settings where everybody in that group have the same goal to stay clean and get clean. So it's like we have like power in a group kind of thing, right? Because what I can't do alone, I can do together. So I'm going to reread the first sentence and keep reading here. Catch that, Victor? Good. We have learned from our group experience that those who keep coming to our meetings regularly stay clean. So regularly, right? It's as if you see a shrink once every 2 months and you don't even apply the stuff that he says outside of the room you're in with him or her. Well, you're not going to get recovery. It has to be regular. It has to be a thing you do almost every day, right? You know, if you see your shrink every week, then this is going to make a difference. You try to apply what you learned. So the NA program gives us a new pattern of living. One of the basic elements of that new pattern is regular meeting attendance. For the newcomer, living clean is a brand new experience. Yeah. All that once was familiar is change. And the thing is, sometimes that's what keeps people from changing, is because they're familiar with where they are, with who they are with, and all that stuff. But familiar doesn't mean good. That's why a lot of people, including myself in the past, maybe stayed in bad relationships because at least I knew what that was. And maybe it was scary to change. That's why we ask courage to change, right? But the old people, places, and things that served as props on the stage of our lives are gone. Yeah, sometimes everything has to change in order to get better, right? New stresses appear, no longer masked or deadened by drugs. That's why we often suggest that newcomers attend a meeting every day. And it sounds pretty crazy. Yeah, it sounded crazy to me, like, I gotta go to a meeting every day? But then the counselor, years in recovery, and all the sayings, right? Well, he told me, did you use drugs every day? I said, yeah. If you ran out of drugs, did you find drugs and get out of your way in your bicycle or took the bus to take drugs? I said, yeah. Well, this is how you got to get clean. You got to do the same willingness, but to get clean. If you use drugs every day, you got to do meetings every day. I'm like, damn it. He's probably right. This tall and big guy with glasses told me I couldn't do G anymore. But he was right. That's why we often suggest that newcomers attend a meeting every day, no matter what comes up, no matter how crazy the day gets. we know that our daily meeting awaits us. It says here, like, no matter what comes up, no matter how crazy the day gets, and a lot of times I find that, especially in the past, where like there was be a lot of stuff going on, or I would start saying about things, when I would step into that room, it's like it would be the only time during the day where sometimes I didn't have my phone in my hand, I didn't check my phone, and I was just like reflecting on recovery, you know. So it's pretty good. It's like people when they go to church, I guess. Oh, like they get, church, and then they don't go on their phone, and they feel good about themselves. Yeah, maybe if we drop the phone, your various time during the week, we'd feel good too. Which I try to do more now. But going back to the meeting, it's like this is why I like rehab, because the meetings are like small little rehabs sprinkled across the week, across the days. Because in rehab, where else can you focus 100% of your time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 6 months at a time? All of that time, only focus is about getting better, mentally and spiritually, getting healthy. Where else? Like, you don't have to work in rehab. You don't have a job anyway if you're in rehab most of the time. You lost your job. I did. Well, it was kind of a relief to just spend all this time on just getting better. It was great. Sometimes all the rehabs I think about, like, I kind of miss some of that stuff, right? Not anymore. I don't miss anything anymore. I like my house and my family, my son and my wife. I like all that stuff. Love that stuff. But before I had all that, I was always like, fuck this thing. Try to be. Rehab was great. That's why some counselors, it's like they almost like they were an addict. They did the rehab, did all the meetings, and then they became counselors in rehab, because it's like in rehab, things are simple. We just try to help each other, stay clean and get clean, and talk about recovery. It was easy. Then you just I would be working out. Food was made for me, piece of cake. Well, you get a little bit of glimpse of that, minus the food being ready for you at the meetings, or maybe church for you, or maybe when you see a shrink, the person in front of you has your full attention. You have their full attention, and you can share honestly to them without being scared. Well, this is what the meetings do to me. Right? This is what I do. I share honestly and stuff. So you got to find something like that to get better. You can't just like bottle everything up, close off, and try to outthink a thinking problem with the brain that got you in that thinking problem. Doesn't make sense. Oh, hey, what's up, Jake Payton? Yeah, it was fun. I mean, the first 3 or 4 weeks, honestly, I would hate myself because I would think about all the bad shit and the consequences would unfold upon me from all the bad shit I did in active addiction in the streets and stuff. But I have zero bad memories from rehab. Once I would start feeling good and seeing a little bit of hope again, I was like, I liked it. The fourth one, my fourth rehab was kind of annoying, but looking back, it's probably what I needed. A very strict one, because I was angry. It had a lot of stuff about like anger stuff and regulating emotions and stuff. But looking back, it was like I made friends, bunch of friends. All the wacky people I used to do drugs with, they're the same people. They're just all so clean now. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. What was I saying? East End Plateau, Gym. East End Palto, BST Gym. Okay. You mean in Montreal? The gym on the plateau are BS? The Buns is saying, let's go, big man, drop the alcohol this year, but learning to find other coping mechanism for things that upset me is still a work in progress. It will always be a work in progress. That's the fun thing. That's the fun thing. You never get to the end. You always progress and become better and better and better and better as you get older. Tabarnak, like Heiter says. So see it as a good thing, the Buns. That it's a work in progress, because you are progressing. If a work of imagine if it was a work of getting worse, I don't know, the on progress, a work of on progress. You are getting better at it, and congratulations about dropping the alcohol. Alcohol is a hard drug, man. It is a hard drug. It kills a lot of people too. People don't think about it, right? With the drunk driving and stuff, and even like alcohol poisoning, or even with the withdrawals. It's one of the only things that kills people with withdrawals is alcohol and benzos. So the buns, good work. I see you have a little physique picture in your little image there, in your little icon, looking good. Keep up the good work. You'll get more gains without the alcohol too. So I'm going to keep reading this thing here. There, it talks about like once you get to a meeting, you kind of feel good. You kind of reset there. And there, we can renew contact with other recovering addicts, people who know what we're going through because they've been doing it themselves. Like, for example, Buns. I'm going to call you Buns. You come on here, you share about your recovery. I share about mine. Jake Payton says, "Good job, brother." We kind of support each other. This is like how people like get better together, is by sharing stuff like that. Buns is saying, "Trying man, life never lets up. Ex-wife left me for it, came back and left me again." Yeah, I've been there. I would like get high, lie, cheat, and then try to get better, come back with her, try to gain some trust back, get high again, lie again, betray her again. Then she'll leave me again, and then I did it like another time. Poor, that girl was like we were kind of not. We try to help each other, but we were not good for each other. In a sense, we were good. She helped me a lot, but if she would go out partying and doing drugs, well, I had to stay home and like clenching my teeth like that because I couldn't do it myself. I was getting triggered. Didn't work. But in the end, it worked out, obviously, because I'm with somebody else now. And happy. But I've been where you are, Buns. Just focus on yourself, honestly. This is all you can do. You got to focus on yourself. And then things will happen the way they're supposed to happen, whatever that is. Hater saying, "Told you, Buns, go boxing." Yeah, boxing's good too. It's good too. It won't get you clean, but it's a good way to do some exercise and have a discipline and a goal you to work towards. Gooman is saying, "How do you learn to say no to yourself when it comes to addiction, to getting high, for example?" Well, I can tell you that. How do I say no to myself? Is because I know exactly what happens if I say yes to myself. You understand? It's like I know. It's like I know if I take the drug, what's going to happen, because I know myself. I've lied to myself before. I'm only going to do drugs this time. This is the last time. I'm only going to do it once a month. And that never worked. I've always used more and lasted more days than I thought, spent more money than I thought. And it's so pretty much like let's say like a Gooman. We'll do a little exercise here. Let's say we take drugs. All right? We pick up drugs. Now, imagine the next like month or week, whatever, is a movie. Take the tape, play it to the end. Where do we end up? Well, I can tell you exactly where I end up. I lose everything that I have here. I'm going to lose my friends. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to do things I will regret. And I'm going to spend a lot of money, do stupid stuff. And if I go long enough, probably become homeless or die before getting there. And I won't be able to stop. I won't be able to stop unless something really bad happens. So when you're telling me like, how do I say no to myself? I don't say no to myself really. I just understand what happens if I say yes to it. Then I'm like, nah, this is not what I want. Right? This is not what I want. So seeing the whole picture, I have to do this movie. So Sometimes I literally had to like I just said to you, like what happens. I get out of my house, I text that guy or whatever, I find some drugs somehow, take the drugs, and sometimes I would have a feeling right away of like, oh, here we go. That was probably a mistake, but then you try to just ignore that and keep going. So even though you're kind of trying to have fun, or whatever, or get high, get numb, there's like a little layer of guilt underneath that's just following your whole high and just trip. And then sometimes after a couple of days, whatever, I don't know how hard you go, but after a couple of days, you get glimpses of like the consequences, and the reality comes back. But you kind of escape right away. You keep going. You don't want to stop yet. I'll stop tomorrow, and then tomorrow never comes because tomorrow becomes today. Today you're high again. You don't want it to stop. Then it keeps going and going. Then there's bad consequences that just pile up and pile up and pile up and pile up, and then you end up in the rock bottom again, in a bad spot. So this is one of the main things that really helped me not do drugs, is because I know I like drugs too much. I can't do them because my brain is an addict brain and I won't stop. I just know myself, and I can't lie to myself saying that this time will be different. I don't know if you're at that stage now that you can actually tell yourself, this time I'll be different. I'll really try to control myself. Maybe you do, but the next time you don't, or maybe you don't at all. But for me, I've done that. Been there, done that. So there's no way I could tell myself this time will be different, because I know it won't. It won't. My brain is as crazy as before. You know, I have the same brain as when I was a crazy 20-year-old with addiction, that was progressing. Same brain. The difference is like I got more recovery or wisdom, whatever, so I know what not to do. But when I do it, it's the same thing. But I have wisdom not to do it now. So I hope this helps you, Gooman, to resist the temptation. This is how I do it. Hater says, pinch the bag test thing for anger. I don't understand. But Jake says, remember your motivation. Yeah, that helps too. But my motivation, yeah, that helps. It helps a little bit. But like I said, for me, it's like sometimes when I would get really angry, I wouldn't care about what I'm motivated about, because motivation is like a fleeting emotion, right? Comes and goes. I'm never always motivated, but I always know how I am if I do drugs. And then Jake says, think about the people who love you. Then again, sometimes if I'm blinded by rage or sadness or whatever, I won't think about the people that I love. Or sometimes the people that I love are the people that trigger me. So it doesn't work always for me like that. But it does help, right? If you're having a little craving, you think about that stuff for sure. Like I think about my wife and my son. Yeah, it doesn't make sense for me to do drugs right now, right? But I would lose everything. Buns is saying, when I drank, it was like a spiral. If I had one after a long break, no big deal. But I get on a bender and start saying and doing shit I don't know even why I do it. Fuck my own life up. Sounds like something I would do, but I don't drink. I would do other stuff. But yeah, it's like start with one, and then I just couldn't stop, and then just my main priority was just to be getting more of the more, and then bad consequences would just keep happening, and I would just couldn't stop. So at least when you're drunk, I guess you just fucking black out at some point and just fall asleep. I'll be up for days. But Buns, I'm glad you're not doing that anymore, hopefully, right? You're not doing that today, Buns. Not today. Hater says, your addiction is woman. Punch the bag at the gym. Oh, you mean punch the bag at the gym. I thought you meant pinch. I don't know how pinching would help. But punching, yes, you can release some tension and energy there. Gooman. Thanks, I appreciate it, Antoine. It's like you said, it's never different. It's always tomorrow. Yeah. It's always, it's never different. When I use it, I never reacted differently to it. I've always reacted the same way to drugs. Oh, I start, I'm feeling good, I want more, let's keep going. It's not stopped yet. And then I would just put everything aside for that. And then bad things would happen. I'm going to go back to the reading. There we can remain in contact with other recovering addicts, people who know what we're going through because they've been through it themselves. That's the only people that I can like relate to, honestly, that I can listen to the message a lot of the time, especially in the past in rehab. People went through it too. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, you went through it. You felt what I feel. I trust you. I understand you. No day needs to go by without the relief we get only from such fellowship. It is a relief to know that people like overcame what you're going through, and it's doable. Because I'm a pretty competitive guy, right? And I always say like, hey, wait, if this guy got clean, I can get clean too. And then I'm like, so what did he do? And then you just take notes, right? Dank is saying, "Hey, Antoine, hope you're getting better." No, I am good. I'm ever better. Never been better than this. So I'm good. Heiter says, my girlfriend's brother OD on crack because he was about to lose everything he worked for in his life. Man, that sucks. That sucks, Hater. I hope your girlfriend's brother, feels better. Seems like he needs a good detox and a meeting. Yeah, Dank, I mean, funny you see me here. I've been doing these weekly about recovery and addiction, but I'm doing good. I'm just doing this to keep it fresh and give back to people who are struggling too. But yeah, I've been good. Man. Ups and downs in the past like 10 years, obviously, but the past 4 have been awesome. I'm going to read the other paragraph. As we mature in recovery, we get the same kinds of benefits from regular meeting attendance. Regardless of how long we've been clean, we never stop being addicts. That's true. True to me. Like I said earlier, same brain as when I was 20 years old. My brain didn't change. It's wired the same. Obviously, there's some neuroplasticity that can happen, but the base frame is the same. Obsessive, impulsive, all that stuff. It's you can control part of it if I take moments in time where I can like pause and just listen. But my reaction is it will always be the one of an addict. So I need to just make sure I don't react too much. So I will always be an addict. My brain will always be like that, and it's a relief. I don't have to stress a lot like, oh, how can I do? Should I drink or not? No, it's for me. I don't today. It says here, true, we probably won't immediately start using mass quantities of drugs if we miss our meetings for a few days, but the more regularly we attend any meetings, the more we reinforce our identity as recovering addicts. And it says here, recovering addicts, right? Always in recovery. I will never be recovered, right? Because my brain is shaped this way, so I won't be recovered. If I'm recovered, it means what? Do I have to? Can I use drugs now? I'm recovered. You know what I mean? So it's a continuous progress, which, like I said earlier, to I think it was it Bunt, or somebody else, was it Jake? I don't remember. Said like, oh, it's a work in progress. Well, this is great. It means that I will always progress if I keep trying to get better with recovery and do meetings. I will always progress in my recovery. I will always recover and then become better from the recovery. So it's good. It's good to be a recovering addict. Jake says, don't react too much is great advice for everything I believe. Yes. Kind of hard to do it when you're really emotional, though, for me. When I'm really emotional, this is when I react the most. So sometimes if I feel like a really intense emotion, I kind of have to do a scan and realize what it is. And pausing on the first thought and then thinking about the second is usually a good choice for me. 100%. Ex-Jester says, yes, and our addict tendencies still show in other ways. From working out to hobbies, I still find myself getting excessive about something. Hey, I can relate to that. My wife was telling me I'm still, she didn't say obsessive. She said, you're passionate about all kinds of stuff. Like, For 2 weeks, for like 2 months, it was video games. I played all the Dooms, and then I started doing gardening every day. I was at the garden earlier in the dark with a lantern, and I did music, obsessed with the music. I just bought a sewing machine. I want to do sewing machine stuff. So this excessive stuff, this obsession stuff can actually be a quality if you channel it in other things than drugs. But if I would take drugs, all my obsessive, impulsive, manic passion, I would be passionate about doing. I was passionate about doing drugs. I was like doing drugs like it was like something I wanted to excel at. So, yeah. So it is an addict tendency, and it's still there. And sometimes I can still see myself like if I'm watching a show on Netflix, and then it's like, oh, the show ends? No. And then the cliffhanger? No. And then you want to feel good knowing what happens next, so you click another show. That's an addict tendency. I mean, I've been pretty good. Like, usually what I do is if I gotta pee and I press pause, because I've already pressed pause, I'm like, you know what? I'll just go to bed, and then I can go to bed earlier if I'm watching shows. So my addict tendency goes everywhere. It goes everywhere. It's not just with drugs, right? With everything. Willie says, hello, Antoine, with all those who are here. God bless you all. Thank you, Antoine, for speaking to us, sharing your past and knowledge. All that you do to help us and guide us. Well, I appreciate it. I'm just talking a little bit here, and hopefully it can inspire a little bit of people, and it's kind of fun to interact. Last week, the chat was dead. My wife sent me like 3 messages. I think Victor was there too. Oh, Tina's here. Look at that. Fucking party tonight. We got the whole crew. What's up, Tina? Ex-Jester says it was life or death for us, finding ways and means to get more was everyday life. Yeah, especially the time addiction gets like real for real. Ex-Jester, I don't know if you ever got there, but when you don't have any more money and you don't really have a place to live, and then you got to find ways and means to get more drugs. Like this now addiction becomes a challenge. I don't have any money. I want to keep going. What do I do? Right? So, yeah, that was crazy. This is like I got there a few times. I had like $17, and I still wanted to do drugs. And I was homeless. So yeah, I guess I had to go to the hospital anyway because my head was all busted. But that's another story for another time. Dank is saying, does weed count as a drug? Yes, it does. Of course, it's a drug. But it doesn't mean it's a drug that it's bad for you. Some people can smoke weed and it's fine, but me, no. I never liked weed anyway. And there's plenty of people addicted to weed and rehab and stuff like that. Some people become schizophrenic on weed. Their brain breaks down from weed. So it's a hard drug for some people. Ex-Jester, yes, I was there for almost 10 years. Got clean in 2020. 10 years of yeah, man. That's crazy. I'm glad you're good, though. 2020. So you got like 5, almost 6 years. Tina's got 4.5 months clean. She loved Kenny. Congrats, Tina. That's awesome. Dank is saying, I've started smoking weed weekly and now I have a constant brain fog. Dank says, I think I need to quit. Well, the thing is, I'll try to tell you that, Dank. I can't tell you what to do, right? But if you are doing something that you think is going to make you feel good, but then you're getting negative effects from it, but even though you're getting these negative effects, you keep doing it, that might be considered a problem for some people. By some people's definition, I might say. So, do you think it's a problem? You know? Have you tried to quit yet? Maybe you can just quit because you say so, right? Some people can just quit. They're not addicts, right? Maybe you're not an addict and you can just quit. But 100%, I mean, think of like anything you take every day in your head to function. I don't even know if it's like make you better or not. It's kind of a crutch, you know? And then Deng says, I see what you mean. Yeah, because if I get drug tested, I'll lose my job. Yeah, maybe if you're using drugs and then you can lose your job, but you prioritize drugs over your job, you might have a problem. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. Listen, I had the worst problem. Ex-Jester for 10 years had a bad problem with drugs, but he's good now, right? So what Jake is saying, if it's diminishing the quality of your life, then just quit or save it for holidays. I mean, if you're not an addict, that's a good idea. Buns is saying, yeah, you should quit. For me, I would say that I think you probably know the answer to that. And if you really think about it in your heart, like what's I don't know if you believe in God or not, but what would be God's will for you to do? You think God would want you to stop? Can you tell honestly to like the God of your own understanding that, oh yeah, weed is 100% good for me. I'll do it every day. It's good for me. These are questions you can ask yourself. So yeah, I can't quit. I just didn't want to waste it. Yeah, that's a good an adequate justification. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. I've said that too. I just can't quit now. I'm gonna use the rest. That's an addict thing. I did that. Listen, I understand you, Dank. If you throw it away, congrats to you. If you don't, I've been there. So you just gotta do what's best for you, right? She Love Kenny, aka Tina, says, dude, I went to an NA meeting the other day and it felt like I belonged again. I haven't felt that since I left NA a while ago and joined AA. That's cool. Which one did you go? I mean, just say was it a Burlington one? Was it like a Oakville? You know, because we don't want to dox yourself here, right? You can send me a DM later if you want. But that's good. I mean, sometimes it's also like the people we hang out with at the meetings sometimes, after the meetings. But for me, I've never had any problems with anyone at the meetings, really, except one person. One person. And it was outside the meeting, because I saw this person outside the meeting. But if I would just go to meetings, do the recovery stuff, be nice to people there, talk a little bit after, then just go home, maybe have a group chat going on from the meeting and stuff, from the home group. But other than that, that's it. Poof. Poof, poof. No drama for me if I just go in and out. But if you start doing like a fellowship and people like, oh, I fucked this person, this guy's a weirdo, this guy's a creep, and then you talk shit. People talk shit. No, this is like, we don't need this. We need recovery. We don't need like bullshit, right? So I'm glad that you found a meeting again in NA, because NA is pretty much like what we need, right? I mean, AA is awesome too. It's the same 12 steps. I actually went to an AA meeting not long ago. It was a medallion. So Jake says, LOL. Willie says, your teeth are so white and perfect. What's your secret? Well, I did drugs for a long time, then had to replace all my teeth. So that's my secret. Because my teeth were bad. Thanks says, yeah, sounds pretty bad. Yeah. The Bun says, Al-Anon, I got yelled at all the time, and the old ladies try to hook up with you all the time. Wait, Al-Anon? Oh, you went to the place where it's like for the families of the addicts and stuff and the alcoholics. The old ladies try to hook up with you all the time. World Buns. Maybe, you know, it's called the 13th step. You know, there's the 12 steps, and the 13th step is you do a little bit of that on the side, you know. Not supposed to. It's a place of recovery. You know, because instant gratification comes in many forms, not just drugs. It can come in food and also, it comes in food and also sometimes physical contact with the opposite sex, or sometimes the same one for some people. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, I heard the 13. Yeah, it's kind of like a underground step that you're not supposed to do. It's hooking up with people in the 12-step program. Wait a minute. Never mind. All right, well, anybody got more questions tonight? I gotta finish this reading, actually. Let's getting laid is a good motivation to stay clean. Well, I was getting... Yeah. I guess it can be. I was just saying that in active addiction, there was way more promiscuous situations than when I'm sober. So I think getting laid was a good motivation for me to get high. I think it doesn't work for everyone. As we mature in recovery, we get the same kinds of benefits from regular routine attendance, regardless of how long we were clean. We never stop being addicts. True, we probably won't even start using mass quantities of drugs if we miss a few days. But the more regularly we attend in the meetings, the more we reinforce our identity as recovering addicts. The more we do meetings, the more we reinforce our identity as recovering addicts. And each meeting helps put us that much further from becoming using addicts again. So the more we do the thing that got us clean, the more we are going far away from us being bad, right? And for me, because it's drugs, meetings are my recovery. The more meetings I do, the more recovering addicts I hang out with, the more I'm stepping away from the me that was using. And right now, if I look at myself now, if me like down bad, like at the corner of my building, being scared to go back up to my ex because I was gone for a whole week, I think that person, I compare to me now, it's like a huge difference. It's a giant difference. It's because I did all these rehab, all these meetings. Like the more I did those, the more I went away from the using version of me. It's crazy. I would look at myself like I'd be like, what? You have this and that? Really? Like I look at all my achievements that had happened since then, since that moment, that rock bottom I just said. It's I would tell myself like, hey, all this will happen if you stop doing drugs. I wonder if it would have helped me stop doing drugs faster, but it did happen that way, and I'm grateful because I'm happy where I am now. Just for today, I will make a commitment to include regular meeting attendance as part of my new pattern of living. Yeah. I mean, I'm already committed to do that. Tina says, I'm traveling to Vancouver in 3 weeks, and I'm a bit nervous. I'm meeting a sober friend down there, but I'm flying alone, so I'm just nervous about the flight down. I've been triggered a lot lately, and I'm worried about flying sober for some reason. I don't know why flying alone makes me think about using. Well, a lot of people, I think it's the anxiety, maybe, Tina? Because there's so many people, they do, like, Xanax, and they drink. They have all these, like, drinks on the airplane and the airport. It's because the anxiety, right? But what I do, Tina, I can tell you what I do, is that for me, it's like, okay, now I can, let's say the flight to Vancouver, 4 hours, 5 hours. I got to tell myself, wait a minute, now I got 4 or 5 hours where I can play video games nonstop without being interrupted. Or you find like a really good TV series you haven't watched yet, but like you've been saving it. I was like, wow, I can watch this series nonstop. I can binge watch a show 5 episodes in a row without feeling guilty because I'm in a plane. Or I can play video games on my, I don't know if you have a Switch or not, but you find a new game, whatever, you get on the Switch and you just play a game nonstop. And you can bring snacks on the plane and eat snacks and play video games. Sounds like a good time to me, right? And I don't feel bad about it. I would do that now. I would feel bad, like playing 5 hours of video games right now. I have a child. I'm not supposed to do that. But in a plane by myself, it's great. So maybe, Tina, you can do some of that. Find something that's really cool to do for 4 or 5 hours and make it into a positive, fun thing. Willie says, off subject but curious, I got into progressive melodic rock because of your old school tricking. Favorite bands right now. Check out Condition Critical from Jersey. It's thrash metal. I looked up Pig Destroyer today for some Instagram stories. It's pretty cool too. So those are the two that come to my mind. Hi Turk, stay clean. Your kid depends on you. Yes, you're right. I agree with you. Ex Jester, using me was a piece of shit. Get paid Friday, broke on Monday, couldn't buy food or pay bills, but still found ways to get high. Today I have a house, car, family, and respect. It's worth everything to stay clean. Dude, congrats. That's a miracle of recovery. I totally understand where you are right now. It's like we look at what we did. It's like pretty crazy we did all that, but we had to do that to become the people we're right now, right? So, Jester, I'm happy to hear that. Jake says, hell yeah. And then Tina says, yeah, I have this switch. I'll try to distract myself while on the plane. Yeah, honestly, Tina, a lot of times when I think about something that kind of scares me, I make it like a big deal in my head. And then when the thing is happening and when it's done, I was like, oh, it wasn't that bad. So maybe that's one of these situations, right? Because it happened to me like so many times. Is that I make it such a giant deal, but in reality, it wasn't that. It's like the fear was way bigger than the actual thing. Like I made a big deal out of something, but in reality, like, oh, if I just wait until it happens, it might not even be that bad, right? That might be one of these situations, right? Especially if you like bring your Switch, or you download some episodes of like Netflix on your phone or something, and you just like chill. And you don't think too much, and you just spend the time and you just relax. I mean, I like taking the plane because, like I said, it's a good time to just play video games and stuff, and just hang out and just be on the phone. And while you're in Vancouver, you'll be with your sober friend. It's like I'm pretty sure you're gonna meet him after him or her after the plane. Like you don't want to start a relapse and just go meet the guy or girl, right? He's like a sober. So you have lots of good reasons not to do anything. You can always message me the day of, and I'll tell you what I said again. But yeah, today's a good day to stay clean, a good day to get clean, and a good day to decide to get clean too, to have the willingness to get clean, have a desire to stop using. Dank says it's personally hard for me to relax because I have anxiety and depression. That's why I smoke weed. Yeah. I mean, that could be a good reason for you to smoke weed, for that you tell yourself, right? But weed, yeah, that's worse too. But maybe there's other options, right? Because I think, have you tried like doing like therapy and things like that? Because maybe there's a reason why you're depressed, right? There's a reason maybe you have anxiety. Maybe there's a reason you're depressed. So if you never get rid of the reason and you just do a band-aid on it, you're not really fixing the core issue. So that's another food for thought. And the thing is, it's pretty good you're talking about it, Dank, because it's like if you just stay home and just not get help and just smoke weed, you're gonna get worse. But if you actually like seek help, see a therapist, talk to your doctor, talk about all this stuff, tell them you have an addictive personality and you can't do pills and this and that. Maybe there's different ways you can deal with your anxiety and your depression. Anxiety, there's like a lot of like CBT and therapy tools you can have that can deal with that. But yeah, just think about it. But the bun's pretty much right. Like, weeds make you depressed. You have to fix the problem or you will always be depressed no matter what you take. You're not wrong. The buns is not wrong. All right, boys and girls. I kind of have to go. But the thing I'm going to give you, if you guys want to keep talking about recovery, I'm going to give you this link to my Discord. Where is my Discord? Yeah, see you, man. But let me give you this link real quick because it's pretty useful. I have it up usually. It hasn't been really super active, but it's there. Let's go see. The pump is a cure. Antoine Anonymous. Let me share this somehow. How do I share this? Here. Whoop, no, that's not it. One sec. Create invite. Copy. There it is. All right, one sec. Poof. This is my Discord. It has Antoine Anonymous section. So we can all chat and support each other with our struggles. All right, sweet. Happy to be here, guys. I'm glad we got a good turnout tonight. Really happy about that. I'll see you soon. I did do a bodybuilding video yesterday, and the day before that, none of this day, I had the Fear Speed. I got the biggest dumbbell. Check out my biggest dumbbell video too. Bye, Tina. Safe travels. Message me if you're struggling. All right. I'll get more videos out soon. I'm going to Texas in December, going to Florida, all this stuff. I'm doing some collabs, Juji in November probably. So more videos to come. And this stream again next week, same time, 9:30. All right. I'll be back with some more good recovery, spreading a good message. All right. See you guys. Take care. Have a good night.